How's it going, everyone? This is MOS Tricks, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do a super counter, and this is one of the most vital pieces of tech that you need to learn in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. If you do not learn this, you will never, I repeat, you will never hit Z rank in ranked, let alone hitting S rank. So this is something you have to learn, but thankfully for you guys, I got the sauce, and we're going to even break it down with the controller cam and even do some frame by frame. So with all that being said, let's just jump right into it. So for those of you that don't know, doing a super counter simply means to press up on your control stick and also hit the square button. However, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero does an absolute garbage job of actually explaining how precise this really is. They just say do it the moment that you get hit. But I'm going to do my best to clear it up for you. The most important thing that you need to know is if you're going to try and perform a super counter, you have exactly 4 frames to hit your square button. And since the window is so precise, if you try and mash just to try and compensate, it will not work. Mainly because there's a chance that you're actually lifting your thumb up at the exact moment where you should be pushing the button. Also notice that if you push the square button inside that 4-frame window, you can actually release it and it'll still work. And something else that's massively important as well is that you do not have to flick the control stick over and over again to try and time it with your square press. You can hold it up the entire time. I'm gonna show you guys the clip a third time. Take a look at the controller cam. The left stick is up the whole time and I simply press the square button right before I get hit and it works. And if your timing is super good, you can flick the control stick up and press square a single time and it'll still work. And when I was labbing this, I didn't actually know which one worked better, so I ended up trying both just to see, and they both do work. You can see in this example right here, I'm consistently flicking the control stick while pressing square and I still get a super counter, so you can do either or. And something else that is mad important, and I cannot stress this enough, that is when I said that you have to time your super counter against someone's attacks, it actually makes a difference as to what attack they are using and even the character itself. So when I was testing this originally, I was using Broly just because I wanted him to be in the video, but I didn't even take it into consideration that the fact that he swings so slowly actually makes it way harder. And so I tried it against a character that attacks much quicker like Jiren, and I had way more success. And the reason is because his attack frequency is so much faster, which means that you can actually be kind of sloppy and still get away with it because you have more opportunities to be right. But with that being said, you still want to try your absolute best to time it. If you try and time the button press perfectly, you have a way better chance of getting out of combos sooner, of course keeping you alive longer. Something I really recommend doing if you're having trouble locking it in is playing the game with no music. If you turn the music off, you can hear all the sound effects much more clearly and it makes it much easier to time. And an even better pro tip is to play with rumble on. If you turn the rumble on your controller, you can literally feel the cadence of how the enemy is swinging on your character. If you don't like playing with rumble, that's totally fine, but for this is just for the sake of practicing. Once you get the muscle memory down and you know what it looks and feels like, of course you can play however you want. Another thing I want to mention as well too before we get too far ahead of ourselves is that yes, you can be blocking and you can also be getting hit and you can still perform a super counter. And this is something that I didn't actually know, and I found it by accident while I was labbing, and that is if you are in sparking, you just straight up ignore hits unless it is a strong hit. So you can just tank all of that and then just time your super counter at the end, and honestly in that situation it's kind of a flex, but it's good to know that you can do this. You have a lot of other better options that you could go for, like grabbing or just starting your own combo, but it's a good thing to know that it does work. I'll say that without a doubt, one of the hardest things about doing super counters is truly just understanding how to do it, because like I had mentioned, the training mode in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, although it is very vast, they do a horrible job of actually explaining how to do it properly, so hopefully I was able to clear things up. Once I figured out how to do a super counter, I tried to get some live examples, because it's one thing to just sit in the training room and let yourself get punched in the face until you figure it out, but it's an entirely different ballgame to try and react with a super counter versus just waiting until it works. So a quick overview of absolutely everything is that you can hold up on the control stick or tap up on the control stick at the exact same time as pressing square. Either one works. You can be blocking or you can be getting hit. And lastly, at least from my testing, you have a 4-frame window. It doesn't really matter if it's a 4-frame window or a 10-frame window, just know that it's extremely quick and it's something that you cannot really react to. You have to just try and time it with the cadence of how you are being hit. The average reaction time is about 18 frames, so there's literally no chance of reacting to something that is only 4 frames. And for anyone that didn't know, I have been an esports coach for the last 5 years for both fighting and shooting games. My entire goal with these videos is to try and make you guys as good as humanly possible at Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I'm planning on doing a super in-depth vanishing guide in the future, so if you're interested in that, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions about any sorts of tech in the game, please be sure to leave a comment down below, and if it gets enough attention, then I'll be sure to turn it into a video as well. Thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you guys learned something new, and as always, have a good day.